Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Once again, thank you for stopping by. I'm deeply grateful. This Saturday, we've got a further Mindspeak at the Intercontinental Nairobi. Mindspeak will be hosting Siddharth Chatterjee. And look at this photograph. Sid was actually, before he joined the UN, was in the Indian Special Forces, and I love this photograph of him parachuting down to the ground, and I thought to myself, he should be parachuting into the Mindspeak session. He's going to speak about SDGs, Kenya's youth bulge, potential for a demographic dividend, as well as achieving universal healthcare coverage in Kenya. Mr. Siddharth Chatterjee is the UNDP resident representative and UN resident coordinator. His name is Sid. There is a whole profile, if you care to look, on rich wrap-ups. He's served in fragile states all over the world, from the Sudan, Darfur, Bosnia, Herzegovina, you name it. And he's a very, very powerful speaker, and I'm looking forward to that tremendously. If you still don't know what Mindspeak is, take a look at a little bit of footage we've got out there about what is Mindspeak. We serve breakfast on Saturday from 9:30. We're at the Intercontinental, and we start at 10. Macro thoughts. This is the world's smallest stock exchange, it caught my attention. LVMH, the world's leading luxury products group, recorded revenue of 37.6 billion in 2016, an increase of 5% over the previous year. That's showing that the business is doing well, notwithstanding what was a weaker global economy last year. I like this, the entrance to 10AK NYC. I'm reliably informed. It is a place worth visiting. I like this photograph, a family of elephants crossing the Ewaso-Nyiro River in Samburu. This photo is by Bobby Neptune. Curtis Shin, life and youth, wealth and glory, they all drift away. Only let this one teardrop, this Taj Mahal glisten. And that was a quote from Rabindranath Tagore. David Yarrow, my first day in Yellowstone yesterday. A cold front and full-on storm is now coming in, and the opportunities are exciting. Great photograph. Political Reflections, the State of the World's Human Rights, is a report out by Amnesty. Very hard-hitting, risk of domino effect as powerful states backtrack on human rights commitments. Warns that never again has become meaningless as states fail to react to mass atrocities, politicians wielding a toxic, dehumanizing us versus them rhetoric are creating a more divided and dangerous world, warned Amnesty today as it launched its annual assessment of human rights around the world. The report, The State of the World's Human Rights, delivers the most comprehensive analysis of the state of human rights around the world, covering 159 countries. It warns that the consequences of us versus them rhetoric setting the agenda in Europe, the US, and elsewhere is fueling a global pushback against human rights and leaving the global response to mass atrocities perilously weak. President Trump's policies have brought the US to a level of human rights crisis that we haven't seen in years. As the world braces itself for a new executive order, thousands of people inside and outside of US borders have had their lives thrown into chaos as a result of the president's travel ban. 2016 was the year when the cynical use of us versus them narratives of blame, hate, and fear took on a global prominence to a level not seen since the 1930s. Too many politicians are answering legitimate economic and security fears with a poisonous and divisive manipulation of identity politics in an attempt to win votes at Salil Shetty. Divisive fear-mongering has become a dangerous force in world affairs, whether it is Trump, Orban, Erdogan, or Duterte. More and more politicians calling themselves anti-establishment are wielding a toxic agenda that hounds, scapegoats, and dehumanizes and entire groups of people. Today's politics of demonization shamelessly peddles a dangerous idea that some people are less human than others, stripping away the humanity of entire groups of people. This threatens to unleash the darkest aspects of human nature. Saying the first target has been refugees, and if this continues in 2017, others will be in the crosshairs. The reverberations will lead to more attacks on the basis of race, gender, nationality, and religion. When we cease to see each other as human beings with the same rights, we move closer to the abyss. Very powerful and I think valid points, but the point is it's all about the direction of travel. And for now, I feel the direction of travel is in the opposite direction to what Amnesty is talking about, and the momentum is in the sails of that move. USS Carl Vinson, carrier strike group conducting freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea. This map from Simon German 600 helps to understand geopolitics from the perspective of China. Clever shift in perspective. Israel's Liberman tells Hezbollah's Nasrallah to stay in his bunker. Nasrallah also made some fairly forthright comments, which probably triggered that response from Liberman. As she arrives in Lebanon's mufti office, Marine Le Pen refused to wear a protocol veil and left. I must say, her comments about Assad not wearing the veil, I think I agree with as well, but for the most part, I can't find agreement. I think she's particularly an out-and-out racist, but I reckon she has a very good chance at the election. Trump talks with Special Assistant Omarosa Manigault during a visit to the National Museum of African American History in Washington. Trump plans to greatly expand the number of immigrants targeted for deportation, and this is something I mentioned over the weekend. The Department of Homeland Security unveiled 2 memos on Tuesday detailing wide-ranging directives focused on both interior enforcement and cracking down on security along the US-Mexico border. The memorandums would enable federal authorities to more aggressively detain undocumented immigrants, expand the pool of immigrants prioritized for removal from the country, and restrict asylum claims by migrants. And this is obviously going to have an impact on, for example, remittances out of the United States of America. Let's move on to the currency markets. The euro 105.13, dollar index 101.33, Japanese yen 113.30, Swissy 100.92, the pound 124.69, the Australian dollar 0.7695, so that's from India rupee 66.945, South Korean won 1141.45, Brazilian real 309.56, Egyptian pound 15.77, South African rand 13.11. I'm a bit of a short-term seller of the rand at the moment. Dollar index, I think, remains bullish above 99.50. We remain above that level. We came, tested it, went through it, bounced very substantially off it. Euro versus the dollar, it's surrounded on all sides. Fortress Europe, Le Pen making progress, Wilders in the lead. We got plenty of political risks engulfing the European Union. Gold, 1236.62. That's had a great year so far, but my trade I noticed where I was long Bitcoin, short gold, is back at scratch. Oil had a very big rally yesterday, best rally in 2 months on bets. OPEC will hit its production cut goals. This is from Holger to give you a feeling. I don't think we're going to make much more progress from here. Iron ore jumped 2.7%, approaching $95 a ton, highest since 2014. And then sandalwood, apparently. A kilogram of Indian sandalwood oil now sells for about $3,000, or about 5 times as much as silver. And prices are rising by at least 20 to 25% a year, according to the South India Sandalwood Products Dealers and Exporters Association. This makes the mature trees on this Australian plantation worth about $1,500 a piece. Emerging markets, the peso rallied most in 1 month on the central bank's hedge plan. The swap will be settled in local currency and therefore isn't a drain on reserves. We've seen a bit of a rebound in the peso. Gaddafi's son trial is unfair. He should be sent to the ICC. I couldn't agree more. This is the UN. I wrote a piece in 2011, Gaddafi's body in a freezer, what's the message? I'm left thinking this dead Gaddafi business is one powerful message. And today, Marshall McLuhan's prediction in the Gutenberg Galaxy, 1962, that the new electronic interdependence recreates the world in the image of a global village, has come to pass. The image of a bloodied Gaddafi, then of a dead Gaddafi in a meat locker, had flashed around the world via the mobile, YouTube and Twitter. Who's in charge of the messaging? Through the fog of real-time and raw footage, I note a very powerful message. The essence of that message being, don't F-U-C-K with us, because you will end up dead and a trophy souvenir in the fridge. That same person is probably repeating Muammar's comment, I tell the coward crusaders, I live in a place where you can't get me. I live in the hearts of millions. That same person is probably asking, really, are you or are you now very dead in a meat locker? The bodies of 74 migrants were found on a western Libyan shore. This is Red Crescent. Very interesting piece about the DR Congo by David Pilling in the FT. A macabre tussle over the body of Etienne Tshisekedi, who for 40 years was the unifying force of the DRC's opposition, threatens to unravel the country's fragile political truce. Tshisekedi's death has thrown into confusion a New Year's Eve agreement that eased a political crisis and is supposed to lead to President Joseph Kabila's stepping down after elections due later this year. Under the shaky deal, the government and opposition are to establish a transitional administration to rule until the polls are held, though it has been undermined by squabbles over the selection of a prime minister. This could not have come at a worse time. It is delaying any possible implementation of the deal. Relatives of Tshisekedi, who died in Brussels more than 2 weeks ago, are demanding that his body be flown to the DRC and buried in a mausoleum in central Kinshasa, the capital. Mr. Kabila, who has ruled the mineral-rich but desperately poor nation since 2001, has pushed back. The body remains stuck in Belgium amid speculation that the government fears his funeral will become a rallying point for the opposition. They're right to fear that. Felix Tshisekedi, who's the opposition's choice for prime minister in the transitional administration, described his father as Congo's national patrimony, deserving of full funereal honors. He told a press conference in Brussels last week that he wanted the government to guarantee security for a funeral that is likely to attract tens of thousands of mourners, predominantly opposition supporters, in a city where Mr. Kabila is loathed by many. We don't want the funeral to turn into a bloodbath. This is Felix Tshisekedi. Ms. Carrie Innes, who is Deputy Director of the Social Science and Research Council in New York, said she did not expect Tshisekedi's body to return to Congo anytime soon. Kabila can't afford the crowds that would gather to greet his body. The body is the backdrop to this game of political football, she said. Mr. Kabila is also likely to resist opposition attempts to nominate Felix Tshisekedi as Prime Minister. Moishi Katumbi, the only opposition figure with money and a national profile, has threatened to return from exile with Tshisekedi's body. However, should he come home, he faces arrest on what supporters say are trumped-up charges. Jason Stearns said he had stopped counting the number of times Mr. Katumbi had pledged to fly home. The two biggest opposition figures were Tshisekedi and Katumbi, Stearns said. Now Tshisekedi is dead, Katumbi's in exile. That really leaves the opposition party pretty weakened. On the 6th of June 2016, Kabila outwitted Katumbi by removing him from the street and the Congo entirely. And I said then it might well prove a cleverly administered technical knockout. The reason he's not keen on that burial in Kinshasa is because the revolutionary contingent attains its ideal form not in the place of production but in the street. where for a moment it stops being a cog in the technical machine and itself becomes a motor, machine of attack. In other words, a producer of speed. And I was in Doha when I was watching this unfold in 2016, and I came across a report from the Congo, and birthday boy President Kabila, at that time constitutionally barred from running for a third term. Katumbi had built up some momentum, and Kabila outwitted Katumbi by removing him from the street in the Congo entirely. She is very acceptable, very much accepted by the people, Mugabe said in the interview without giving further details. He's speaking about his wife, and his wife has said that ZANU-PF will field a corpse, Robert Mugabe's corpse, as the candidate for president. Inside Africa, as Moody's Africa run through, very interesting, talking about liquidity stress, low growth, political risk drive negative 2017 outlook for Sub-Saharan African sovereigns. A third of the region's sovereigns were downgraded in 2016. Our outlook for sovereign credit worthiness in 2017 in Sub-Saharan Africa is negative overall, reflecting our expectations of the fundamental credit conditions that will drive sovereign credit in the region over the next 12 to 18 months. The main driver of the negative outlook is the liquidity stress facing commodity-dependent sovereigns due to recurrent fiscal deficits and challenging funding conditions. Other drivers include subdued growth and persistent domestic political risks, which can exacerbate liquidity risk in countries that rely or need external support. However, policy impetus will sustain rapid growth in a few countries. We also expect government debt levels to stabilize amid fiscal consolidation, although socio-economic challenges in some countries will complicate this task. By December 2016, we had downgraded a third of the region's 19 rated sovereigns by an average of around 2 notches. Talking about declining foreign exchange reserves, depreciating currencies, fiscal imbalances resulted in severe liquidity strains and reduced debt sustainability in Mozambique and Zambia. Stabilized the outlook on Ghana, downgraded Uganda. Overall 2017 outlook for the African banking sector is stable. Credit growth of around 20% in 2017. Upgraded Afreximbank's ratings to BAA1 from BAA2. Talking about the railway connecting Ethiopia and Djibouti, to some extent the railway, which is Africa's first electrified standard gauge railway, removes one of the largest constraining factors on Ethiopia's economy. So, interesting report, do take a look. South African all shares up 3.82% year to date. Dollar versus rand, last time I looked, 13.134. Cecil the Lion, drought in South African wildlife price boom. Wildlife prices are tumbling good in South Africa as game breeders are squeezed by restrictions imposed on trophy hunting following the killing of Cecil the Lion in 2015, and the worst drought on record forced farmers to sell animals. The average price of a buffalo bull fell 71% in 2016 and is now a fraction of the record set in 2013. There's been an onslaught on the trophy hunting industry, and that has fed through to prices. Egyptian pound, best performing currency in 2017. Take a look at the 3-month chart. Think it's going to run out of steam here. Bismarck, Rwanda, there is panic. The system has collapsed. Dollars have disappeared at Bureau de Change at airports, referring to Nigeria. Buhari thanked his guests for visiting. I'm also grateful to Nigerians, Christians and Muslims alike for their prayers and kind wishes for my health. Nigeria is saying it sees no need to go to the IMF, plans its own reforms. Nigerian oil shares down 6.04% this year. This is all referencing this new rate for people who are buying school fees abroad. Ghana Stock Exchange plus 7.22% this year. If you haven't seen President Mahama's presentation at MindSpeak, those links are up there as well. Sub-Saharan Africa's mobile connections. Look at this from Kenya Wall Street, and I thought to myself, that's the arrival of the information century right there. M-Pesa's mobile money success story turns 10. This is a report on CNN talking about M-Pesa, how smartphone payments gaining ground in the US, but mobile money is old news in Kenya. M-Pesa means money in Swahili has made a dramatic impact. The system was launched by Vodafone Safaricom mobile operator in 2007. Today there are 30 million users in 10 countries and a range of services, including international transfers, loans and health provision. Next decade will bring new challenges for the mobile payment system. One of the big problems has been the relative clumsiness of using M-Pesa, says Bob Collymore. New streamlined solutions include a debit card that will allow users to tap and pay and a new mobile app. The service will face stronger competition in the coming years. Kenya Bankers Association, representing 46 banks, is introducing its own mobile payment platform that will allow convenient transfers between accounts of different banks, and the group hopes this will eat into M-Pesa's market share. Given the economics of the product, I think we'll find customers moving over and preferring to use our products as Habila Laka. Safaricom CEO says he welcomes the bank's intervention as he believes it will drive innovation and benefit the consumer. We always used to say that cash is the enemy, said Collymore. Holding cash doesn't make sense. As soon as you put it in the mattress, it loses value. We are not attacking the banks, we're working with the banks. If other people are finding solutions for problems, then that's also cool. I said, are the banks going to be able to dislodge M-Pesa? I'm not sure. It's ubiquitous, it's everywhere. I think they're going to struggle. However, they're going to obviously get a piece of the wholesale market, that's for sure. Bob talked about micropayments driving M-Pesa to a position of dominance, and the CEO has faith that the same model can sustain success into a second decade. We target the 1 shilling. The banking sector across the world has always ignored the so-called base of the pyramid. We haven't, because we understand that the base of the pyramid needs to be served, but there's also commercial viability in doing that. A trading statement from Johannesburg Stock Exchange on Chris Karubi's acquisition of 51% in Tiger Brands' local business here in Kenya, Hako Industries. Tiger was previously bullish about the Hako partnership, but has over the past 2 years soured on the investment, starting with the discovery of what Tiger said was a $8.45 million fraud at the company in 2015, the accounting fraud that came in the form of pulling forward sales and falsification of stocks cost the multinational $4 million at group level, as the subsidiary sunk into an undisclosed loss in the year in September 2015. French PE firm Amethyst Finance has acquired 40% in Kenya's Africa Industries. Amethyst, together with its partners, have acquired 40%. This is the East African packaged food business Africa Industries. The transaction is limited to the confectionery and culinary business, and the Shah family will continue to operate the footwear and stationery business separately. So that's pointing at a lot of M&A activity of late. South African private equity firms acquired the Kenyan unit of global insurance broker Aon for an undisclosed amount. That's another one. I'm deeply grateful to Base Titanium, who appointed me to the board, along with Desteria Oyatsi and John Ngumi. It's been a journey, and I've learned as much from the engagement with Base about mining in what is quite an esoteric corner of the mining world. Deeply grateful for that appointment. Kenya shilling 103.55. Nairobi all share down 6.31% this year. NSE 20 down 6.96% this year, and just closed at a 5-week closing high. Once again, thank you kindly for stopping by. Remember, Mindspeak on Saturday. We're back at the Intercontinental with Sid Chatterjee, and we're looking forward to that a great deal.